Simasane Harati Kare na Brahma Adi Devagane Arati Kare na Brahma Adi Devagane Imanaradi Adi Kore Chamaradolaya Sanjaya Mukunda Bashu Goshadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshadigaya Shiva Shankar Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Shanka baje, kanta baje, madur 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 baje. Shanka baje, kanta baje, madur 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 baje. Gaurangera Arati Shobha Jagajarana Mana Lobha Ittai Gaura Haribol 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 Iva Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujala Gala Desi Bhavna Mala Kore Janamala Shiva Shiva Sukhanarada Preme Gadada Bhagati Vinoda Deke Gorara Sampada Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasati Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasati Gaura Bhaktarinda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasati Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Govind Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Hey Govind Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya 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 Radha Ramana Hari Govind Jaya 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Ram Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Kishore Kishori, Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori. Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Oh, Premanande.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimad, His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishimad, His Divine Grace. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Prense Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Sri Vrindavan Mathura Dhama Ki. Sri Mayapur Navoday Dhama Ki. Purushottam Kshetra Sri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki. Ganga Maji Jamuna Maji Ki. Bhakti Devi Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki. The most beautiful Lordship Shishik Kishore Kishori Ki. Paramakaruna, their most merciful Lordship Shishik Gauranitai Ki. The most merciful Lordship Sri Jagannath Sri Baladev Srimati Shubhadra Maharani Ki. Shri Sudarshan Chakra Ki. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Jagya Ki. Garantara Shimam Bhagavatam Ki. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shishiguru and Shiguranga.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Ra-la-la-la-da-da-ine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakale. Ito Nashimo, Ae Nashimo, Ito Nashimo, Parato Nashimo, Yato Yato Yami Tato Nashimo. Paye Nashimo, Hirdaye Nashimo. Narashim Mamadim Sharanam Prapare. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Nahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Nahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsimhade Jaya Nrsimhade Jaya Nrsimhade Jaya Nrsimhade Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Jai. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So on behalf of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, we welcome you all to the Sunday Feast program at Sri Sri Kishore Kishori Dham here in New Seva Kunj. So before we start our program, we will read a small inspiration words of inspiration that we always send out in our emails from our founder Acharya, just to get the mood going. This is this is in a letter to one of his disciples in 1970. The vivid example of this presence of God both before the theist and atheist simultaneously is Lord Narasimhadev. Lord Narasimhadev appeared before the atheist Hiranyakashipu as death, and he appeared before Prahlad Maharaj, the theist, as the benedictor of blessings. So yes, it's a very important saying on the Narasimha Chaturdashi just now went. So one more announcement. Today's Sunday feast has been sponsored by Rajiv and Reena Sahani on celebration of graduation of their daughter Sonal. So we would all congratulate them and give their blessings by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you so much for sponsoring this feast. We do have some gift for you once you are, after the class. Please do see me. Thank you. Is there anybody who has come for the first time? All right. So if you have a small gift, can we please welcome them with a big Hari Bol? Hari Bol! All right. So today's Sunday Feast program, a special Sunday Feast program as yesterday. We have two speakers. His Holiness Romapad Swami, we already know him very well. And we also have His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu, who has come all the way from India to basically enlighten us. He is a Sanskrit scholar, and I think you must have, who have come yesterday, you must have already heard him. So we welcome them both with a big, big Hari Bol. Hari Bol! So they will be speaking on this side here. So please face on, face the speakers, and we will start our class. Thank you so much.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Brajajanaran Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Brajajanaran Yamanatira Vanachadi Jamana Tiravana Chadi Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamanatira Vanachadi Tira Vanachadi Jamanatira Vanachadi Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Astatarasata C. Modest Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaura Premanandi. Well, in addition to the wedding that happened today, it's an auspicious day for many reasons. I'm going to be speaking about one of them. Hari Parshad Prabhu is going to speak of another one, and there's another one. I'm going to be speaking about the life of Madhavendra Puri because today is his appearance. Today is also the appearance of the wonderful self-manifesting deity of Radharaman in Vrindavan, the deity of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and the appearance of his disciple, Srinivasacharya. So we're going to offer our respects to Srinivasacharya, an exalted personality who honors his guru, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who worshipped the Radharamanji deity. So Madhavendra Puri is very important. It's especially important in our disciplic line. We'll hear some more later. How he inaugurated or paved the way or made the introduction in our disciplic line for the mood of the love of a devotee as Radharani loves Krishna, in the mood of conjugal love in separation from Krishna. Following him Ishwara Puri, following him Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is said that he is the seed. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the source of seeds. But he's in our line, he is the first to exhibit this transcendental ecstatic mood of love for Krishna in separation as the mood of the gopis displayed. You'll hear more as we go along. He was the celebrated guru of Ishwara Puri and celebrated guru of Advaita Acharya. Some of you are a little newer, so you may not know who is Advaita Acharya. The Panchatattva mantra that we recite, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, and Sri Advaita. Madhavendra Puri is the guru of Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadhar, and Srivas, the Panchatattva. So he's the guru of Advaita Acharya. He's the guru of Ranga Puri, another celebrated personality in our line, and many other persons were his disciples. So he served as guru, and he was in the final stage of sannyas. I've often heard Srila Prabhupada describe these, the traditional standards for the three stages of sannyas. So traditionally, I'm unaware, I searched, I couldn't find any history of prior to his sannyas, what was the ashram or any of the earlier history of Madhavendra Puri. I've been able to find it. But he took sannyas and moved to the Paramahansa stage. You see, there's Madhavendra Puri carrying his Tridanda and his bead bag, of course, and the picture is in Vrindavan. His practice was in the Paramahansa stage. The three stages have names, but when one enters sannyas from the Grahastha ashram, they build a little cottage outside the town, and the family or the villagers from the town, they bring some offerings for the sannyasi for his meals. That's one stage. Another stage is he goes into they don't bring to him, but he goes into the town and performs madhukari from place to place. And then he doesn't stay in one place, he travels. Paribrahacharya. Actually, there's 4 stages. Paribrahacharya, traveling. And subsists by Madhukari. Door to door, people may offer something, and that's his maintenance. It's a very humble position and a standard Vedic position. Kotichak, Bahudak, Paribrajacharya, and Paramahansa. The final stage is the stage that Madhavendra Puri was in. That is, they wouldn't perform Madhukari. Madhukari means you go to the householder's door, extend your cloth, ask someone in the house, Mataji, please offer some alms, and whatever comes, that's what he would come. That would be his maintenance. The Paramahansa stage didn't do that. They would, if someone came and brought something to them, they would accept, and otherwise they would fast. And that's what Madhavendra Puri did. Now, in America, you'd expire, most likely. But in India, it was very common. Persons would come and make offerings. So this is the way that he lived. And on this particular, very special occasions described in detail in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was in Vrindavan, and he was at a particular place in Vrindavan around the side of Govardhan Hill, and in a very particular place near Govardhan Hill, near Govindakund at Govardhan Hill. It's on the eastern side of Govardhan Hill as you're going south. So he was seated beneath a tree, as you see pictured here, and the evening was setting, which means it was around the time for milking cows. But he didn't go and ask the milkman for any milk. He was just chanting the holy name. And a young boy who didn't identify himself, but you can tell very clearly from the painting who that is, young cowherd boy came and approached him with a pot of milk. And he said to Madhavendra Puri, "You've been fasting. In our village, nobody goes fasting hungry. Here, please take this milk." He was very happy. "How did you know I was fasting?" The village people said, "Please bring this to him." And he didn't ask further questions. He was very grateful. And the young boy had to go. It was time for milking the cows. And as Madhavendra Puri was drinking the milk, he was feeling a special ecstasy. His whole body was erupting with transcendental ecstasy and contemplating, this is very special milk. That was a very special boy. And as the evening continued, his chanting continued, and in a dream-like state, this young boy appeared again in his dream. And he introduced himself. "My name is Gopal. And I've been waiting for you to come. My deity form is hidden deep into the brush in a jungle portion down some distance away from here, along the side of Govardhan Hill. Long ago, the pujaris were afraid of invading soldiers, and so they hid me in the bushes. And I've been there since then, waiting for you to come. Please find me when the daybreak comes." And his dream broke. So, transcendentally enlivened, Madhavendra Puri, sad that he didn't recognize Krishna when he saw Krishna, but very happy to be in his service, he went, got some villager people in the morning, took them exactly to the place where the deity said his deity form was. And this is that place. Now, at that time, it was literally jungle. Now, it's a little place, and you have to go there at the right time and know the right number of rupees to offer the persons that will let you in. And inside is the place where he found the deity. And when he found the deity, it was a beautiful deity, but neglected for a long, long time. And being familiar with deity worship, he knew exactly what to do. He placed the deity on the side of Govardhan Hill, and very detailed procedure is found in Chaitanya Charitamrita and elsewhere, where step by step the installation, first many pots of water from Manasi Ganga were brought for bathing the deity, and after bathing the deity, anointing the body of the deity with fragrant oils, and after anointing the body with fragrant oils, step by step, the whole procedure of deity worship. The adorning of the deity with nice garments, a crown, nice flute, garlands, and then he requested all the village people who were just astonished to see this beautiful deity to assist him performing Anukut, very similar to what we find in the Govardhan Leela. The village people brought forward piles of cooked foods and rice, and the description is there, so many different varieties, and huge quantity. And Madhavendra Puri performed the worship. There you see some nice kirtaniers accompanying him, because the village people in Vrindavan, they're Vaishnavas. They're very happy to see this majestic deity form. And after performing the arti and distributing the prasad, the nearby village people said, "Can we do this another day?" So they gathered all that he agreed, and the next day was the same, and the next day was the same, and it went on for a month. Major installation, big celebration. All the village people of Vrindavan became very happy. And this went on. He gave Diksha to some of the local Brahmins. It taught them the procedure for worship, and they carried on the worship very nicely. 2 years later, dream number 2, the deity appeared in his dream, in his deity form this time. And the deity explained, summer season is coming. The summers in Vrindavan are very hot, and my body is still heated from long neglect. So he gave him some service. What is a Vaishnava like besides service? There's nothing else, just some service. So he requested him to gather camphor and sandalwood and make paste of camphor and sandalwood and smear it on his body for the duration of the summer season. Immediately, Madhavendra Puri is ready to go to a place where he could secure a large quantity of sandalwood and camphor. It turns out that Puri was such a place. And those of you that are from India, you know the geography from Vrindavan to Puri is quite some distance. There was no train and no other conveyance. It was walking. So walking. He eventually reached Navadvip, or even more specifically, Shantipur near Navadvip, where Madhavendra Puri and Advaitacharya met for the first time. Advaitacharya accepted Diksha from Madhavendra Puri, and you see in the painting, there's the painting, framed painting on the left, that's Madhavendra Puri, and here in Shantipur, he gave Diksha to to Advaitacharya. And he then continued on, heading in the direction, southerly direction towards Jagannath Puri. On the way to Jagannath Puri, he came across a small place called Balasore, and in Balasore there's a very nice temple. This is now a more recently constructed temple, but a simple temple at that time, of the deity Gopinath. And it's a celebrated deity. I'll give you the history of the deity towards the end. But the deity of Gopinath today you see on one side is Govindaji and on the other side is Madan Mohan. They came later, much later than during the time of Madhavendra Puri. But here's the Gopinath deity, and his a bas relief deity. Bas relief means his back is still connected to the stone from which he was carved. We'll hear some more about that. And the other deities by his left and right side are freestanding deities. His flute is rectangular because the original flute, it's in the carving, is also rectangular, and this is the silver covering that flute of Gopinath. And he heard this Gopinath deity is very celebrated for receiving from the kitchen wonderful sweet rice. So he was thinking, he is such a subtle person, that if he could simply get an opportunity to taste the sweet rice that was offered to Gopinath, he could understand how they prepared it. And then when he went back to Vrindavan, he could make for his deity, Gopal. So that's very refined tasting. There's some nice stories of how Prabhupada was also very refined in his taste. That's another class. But just by tasting something, he could tell exactly what it was and even where it came from. Prabhupada. So, he had that desire to taste that sweet rice, but then he thought, wait a minute, I'm desiring to taste the sweet rice before it's offered to the deity? What a big offense. He wasn't interested in tasting bhoga that's meant to be offered to the deity, but he was feeling very humble about the situation. And so he waited, the arti was performed, and after the arti was performed in repentance for what he was considering to be an inappropriate desire, he left the temple, went outside, there's a courtyard for the temple, outside the gate, into the marketplace area, which is behind the temple, and there he took rest for the night. When he took rest, in the evening time, the Pujari also took rest, who was awoken with dream number 3 in this history, in this narration. And in the dream, the deity of Gopinath informed the Pujari, when you removed the kheer, you didn't notice. I had you covered with my Yogamaya potency. You didn't notice that there was one pot of sweet rice that was missing. And the reason is because I hid it behind my cloth. So go to the altar right now and retrieve that pot of sweet rice, because I stole that pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. I want you to deliver it to him. Find him. He's in the marketplace somewhere. And it's for him. Pujari woke up. No, Pujaris generally have keys that nobody else has, so he used his key, took his bath, went on the altar, and this nice painting shows he's looking behind the cloth of the deity, and sure enough, there's the pot of sweet rice that was stolen by Gopinath from Madhavendra Puri. The Pujari was ecstatic, thinking, what an intimate relationship between the deity that I'm worshipping and this sadhu. So he went out of the temple, out of the courtyard, out of the front gate, and walking around in the darkness in the marketplace, calling out, Madhavendra Puri, where are you? Gopinath has stolen some sweet rice for you. Madhavendra Puri, you're the most fortunate person in the universe. Madhavendra Puri, where are you? So eventually he heard. Madhavendra Puri was woken by the Pujari. In ecstasy, the Pujari handed the pot of sweet rice to Madhavendra Puri, who paid his obeisances to the sweet rice and to the Pujari, and with tears in his eyes, understanding what had just happened, he began tasting the sweet rice. The Pujari returned to his quarters, and Madhavendra Puri, after finishing the sweet rice, understood what would happen next. What would happen next is people would want to come and honor him and praise him and celebrate him. Oh, you're such a great personality that the deity reciprocated with you in this way. So he left. In the middle of the night, he left because he didn't want, this is the marketplace, the big banyan tree out there in the marketplace. He didn't want notoriety. This is the nature of an advanced person. They don't, the nature of a materialistic person is they want attention and respect and honor and distinction and all those things. And an elevated person like Madhavendra Puri is not at all inclined in that way, so he left purposely, so people couldn't find him and praise him and honor him. Well, there's this saying that the reputation of a person follows them. By the time he reached Jagannath Puri, people already knew about Madhavendra Puri in his celebrated status. And so he was received very warmly and generously. He spent some time in Puri. The local leaders of the temple made all arrangements for him to have all the camphor and sandalwood, large quantity of sandalwood, and people to carry all those articles, and some papers, because to cross territory in India at that time could be very dangerous. So clearance papers from the authorities there. And off he went, back to bring this to his deity Gopal, because the summertime was coming. It's very hot. So on his way, he passed through Ramuna, the place where the deity of Gopinath is, and he saw the worship of the deity. And once again, dream number 4. This time, the deity of Gopal appeared in his dream, indicating to him, you don't need to come all the way to Vrindavan with this sandalwood and camphor. You can grind the sandalwood and camphor right there in Ramuna and smear on the body of Gopinath, because the deity of Gopinath and I are the same. Transcendental, interesting detail and reality. And so he stayed. Some local people helped him grind the paste and camphor, and he personally took responsibility for smearing the body of Gopinath. Well, here's another photograph of the deities. It's pretty hard to get these photographs. On the upper left side of the painting or the photo is the Panchatattva. So these personalities are now followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The story of the Chira Kora Gopinath that I just related was told by Nityananda to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when they passed through Ramuna. And when he heard the story, he was in ecstasy. Here's a painting of Madhavendra Puri, again with his danda, Sri Danda. Sri Gaurachandra has repeatedly stated that Sri Madhavendra Puri is the original root of worship in ecstatic love, found in Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur in Adikanda. And I'm going to invite our Sanskrit scholar here sitting next to me to recite this celebrated verse. You can say it responsibly following him. I mean, I can say it too, but you please say.
Kindly repeat after me. आई दीन दयार्द्र नाथ है, आई दीन दयार्द्र नाथ है, मथुरा नाथ कदावलोक्यते, मथुरा नाथ कदावलोक्यते, हृदयं त्वदलोककातरम्, हृदयं त्वदलोककातरम्, दयितभ्राम्यति किं करोम्यहम्, दयितभ्राम्यति किं करोम्यहम्.
In his final days, Madhavendra Puri would recite this verse again and again and again and enter deeply into the mood. He didn't become tired, he became ecstatic because he was savoring the mood and becoming spiritually enlivened by its message. Here's Prabhupada's translation from Chaitanya Charitamrita. O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Mathura, this is Krishna, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. Oh, most beloved one, what shall I do now? Kim karomyaham. What shall I do now? Oh, most beloved one, what shall I do now? The mood of Srimati Radharani, or the mood of the gopis, feeling separation from Krishna, not seeing Krishna. The circumstance can be any number of circumstances when they were not seeing Krishna and feeling separation from him. The pages of the 10th canto Bhagavatam is replete with this wonderful mood. And this was before Madhavendra Puri, this mood of love of the gopis in separation from Krishna was not known. He made it not only known, but he was savoring it and expanding it and expanding it. And in this way, he left this world. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada writes, in its purport, worship in separation is considered by the Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya to be the topmost level of devotional service. According to this conception, the devotee thinks of himself as very poor and neglected by the Lord. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addressed the Lord as Dina Dayadranath, as did Madhavendra Puri. Such an ecstatic feeling is the highest form of devotional service. Now, that mood of love and separation was transmitted from Madhavendra Puri to Ishwara Puri, and at least fitting the mood of disciplic succession, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, that mood was transmitted or shared by Ishwara Puri with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then in turn his followers. And certainly the mood of the followers of the six Goswamis and many others had the same mood. That's our line of disciplic succession. He remained in Jagannath Puri for till a ripe age, and this is his Bhajan Kutir place. Here's what it looks like inside, and here's his samadhi. His remains are there, side by side. So when you visit Ramona, it's not right in the courtyard. You have to ask around, but there's these two places in the back side of the temple. I'd like to give a little bit of the history of the deity Gopinath. The history is found by a follower of Rasikananda in the courtyard of this temple, of the Radha Gopinath temple deity. There's in the back side, there's inside the temple compound is the samadhi of Rasikananda, and he was a great devotee who also left this world entering into the body of the Gopinath deity, it is said, as did his followers. So their little samadhis are next to his. A very celebrated Vaishnava in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one of his disciples gave the history of this deity that was very much loved by Rasikananda. And there's some details of how that deity was rediscovered by Rasikananda. But the history that's described is as follows. During the time of Lord Ramachandra, he and Sita and Lakshman were together in Chitrakoot. And during the rainy season, they were inside their hut, and the cows were mooing, and Lord Ramachandra smiled very pleasingly. And Sita asked him, "What is it that you're contemplating?" He said, "I'm contemplating my pastimes that I perform in each day of Brahma during Dwarpa Yuga," which hadn't happened yet in this particular Yuga cycle. But the Supreme Lord is certainly aware of his various pastimes. So Sita asked him, "Could you give me a description of these pastimes?" He said, "Even better, I'll carve a deity with one of my arrows. It'll take me a week." So on a black stone, he began carving the deity. And after 3 days, Sita was very encouraged, wanting to see the deity in its present state. So she asked him to see the deity. So he showed her the deity, and the deity, it's again a bas relief, means different than our deities here in many of an ISKCON, almost all of an ISKCON. They're freestanding. There's no back to the stone of the deity, but in the case of Gopinath there is, and in the back there's other details. There's 4 maidservants or gopis, along with the principal gopis. There's 12 cows. There's Balaram wrestling with Mushtika, Krishna wrestling with Chanura, and many other scenes, along with in the bas relief part of the deity. And when it was time to leave Chitrakoot, the deity was left behind. Lord Brahma, according to this history of the disciple of Rasikananda, Lord Brahma came and daily would perform the puja. And this went on for a long, long time. Long time. Very long time, because according to Rupa Goswami, in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Lord Ramachandra appears in the 24th Yuga cycle of Chakshusha Manu, which is the Manu before our present Manu. And in the present Manu is when Krishna appears. In its present age, it's a long time. Brahma worshipping this deity. So this history says in the 13th century, one king, Langula Nrsingadev from Orissa, because Rasikananda and his followers were from Orissa, they traveled to holy places. They went to Ayodhya and they visited Chitrakoot and they saw this beautiful deity of Gopinath. And they didn't know that every day Brahma was worshipping Gopinath. And so he thought, the king thought, best to bring the deity to Puri. In his dream that night, the deity requested him, please take me to a more populated place. So he did. And in the course of his travels, he came to Ramuna. And in his dream, again, this deity likes to appear in dreams, he told the king, leave me here. This is such a nice place. I want to be worshipped here. And so the deity of Gopinath was worshipped where there's many cows. When you visit Ramuna, commonly visiting Ramuna means you go to Balasore and then you take some kind of a ride, taxi ride or something to get to Ramuna. And there's cows all over the place. Cows all over the place. So being a place of many, many cows, they were very fond of making milk sweets. So Gopinath from the get-go in the 13th century was receiving nice sweet rice. And then became celebrated as the sweet rice Gopinath. Chira Gopinath. But then after this pastime with Madhavendra Puri, he became known as Chira Kora Gopinath. Kora means thief. He stole the sweet rice from Madhavendra Puri. Chira Kora Gopinath. And we're celebrating the appearance of Madhavendra Puri. These are some of the simple pastimes. Here's a very nice photograph of the deity of Gopinath. On his right or our left is Govinda and Madan Mohan. And the date, according to the text that I read, was not so long ago. In 1938, a deity, a Babaji from Vrindavan brought these two deities by the side of Gopinath. But so when we see the deity, it's the Chirakora Gopinath temple, and by his side is Govindaji and Madan Mohan. So a little appreciation about Madhavendra Puri and the celebrated gift that he gave to us through disciplic succession. This wonderful story of the Gopinath deity, the wonderful story of the Gopal deity that he found and it revealed himself to him actually. And the most important, this nice ecstatic method of worshiping in the mood of separation. And of course there's abundant scriptural teaching surrounding this, provided particularly by the followers of Mahaprabhu, particularly the Goswamis and others. It's a very important integral part of our worship and our honoring of the pastimes of Krishna and the way to honor the pastimes of Krishna from our position in the mood of first comes, we have a separation without attachment. But in that mood, that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. Passed on, or the seed of it coming from Madhavendra Puri. So we're honoring him on his appearance day. And I'm sure we're in for a very wonderful narration about the appearance of Radharaman. So can we take care of the microphone stand?
Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, I think we should thank His Holiness Romapad Swami Maharaj for that wonderful talk on Sri Madhavendra Puri. By an applause, dear devotees. Thank you. So, my sincere thanks to all of you for kindly being here. Today is not only a day related to Sri Madhavendra Puri, but also a day related to the appearance of Sri Radha Raman TT. And the term Radha Raman has a very special significance in our Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya. Our Acharyas, especially Sri Jiva Goswami, says, Shri Radha Ramayan Nityam Rama iti abhidhiyate. Because he is always Ramayan, sporting around with Shri Radha. Therefore, he is known as Shri Radha Raman Shri Ram. So, Srila Jiva Goswami says that when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the Rama specifically indicates Shri Radhika Raman Ram. Shri Radha Ramayan Nityam Rama iti abhidhiyate. Because he is always sporting around, Ramayan, with Shri Radha. So the verbal root Ramu is for sporting around, and from this verbal root Ram comes the term Rama, and therefore Radhika Raman is the Rama of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. This deity of Sri Radha Raman, it appeared on the next day of Sri Narsimha Chaturdashi. Yesterday we all celebrated Sri Narsimha Chaturdashi, and in celebrating Narsimha Chaturdashi, we also know of one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan whose name was Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he had a desire to worship a deity of the Lord, but he had only Shaligram Shilas with him, and he had an intense desire to worship the Lord. And out of his intense desire to worship the Lord appeared from a Shaligram Shila, and that Lord today is known as Shri Radha Raman. Dear devotees, kindly please let me know by raising your hands how many of us want to see Krishna face to face in our lives. Please. Yes, we all want to see Krishna face to face in our lives. All of us want to have a darshan of the Lord in our lives. And our acharyas, they encourage this darshan, because Shri Gopal Bhatt Goswami also wanted to have a darshan of the Lord. There are many places where Srila Prabhupada encourages seeing Krishna face to face. I am quoting a letter from Srila Prabhupada which he wrote on 13 November 1969. Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna, being the father of all living entities, is supplying the bare necessities of their life. But for his devotees, he has got special attention. So depend on Krishna, chant regularly Hare Krishna, and you will find that he is talking with you face to face. What to speak of supplying your necessities? This is a great science. Please try to understand it nicely. So it's a very encouraging letter where Prabhupada is saying that we can see Krishna face to face. Just as Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami also saw Sri Radharaman face to face, we can also see Krishna face to face. Not only that, our previous acharyas, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, He says that our life will be successful if we get a darshan of Krishna only once in our lives. This is what he says. I'll try to sing it. Please repeat after me. Janam safalata Krishna darshan jar भाग्य हो अच्छे एक बार जन्म सफल तार. His life is successful. Krishna darshan jar bhagye, in whose life the darshan of Krishna hoi ache occurs ek bar. Ek bar means how many times, dear devotees? Once. Sri Madhavendra Puri, he got a darshan of Lord Krishna, as we saw in the presentation that Maharaj just presented. Krishna came to him as a cowherd boy and offered some milk to him. So he got Eka darshan, a single darshan of Krishna face to face in his life. So we also should try to aspire that someday in our lives we will see Krishna face to face. See, we read these prayers. The prayer which we read, the verse which Maharaj quoted from Sri Madhavendra Puri is very nice. Mathura Nath Kadavalokyase, O Lord of Mathura, when will you be seen? So he is in separation. He is experiencing separation from Krishna. Dear devotees, how many of us want to experience separation from Krishna? See, very few people raise their hands. When I said how many want to have darshan of Krishna, they immediately raised their hands. And now that I am saying how many want to experience separation, very few people raise their hands. Why so? Why is it that we don't want to experience separation from Krishna? It's because there is a difference between Sri Madhavendra Puri and us. Big difference. Prabhuji, can you tell me what is the big difference between Sri Madhavendra Puri and us? Okay. See, the big difference is Sri Madhavendra Puri has first seen Krishna and then he is experiencing separation. In our lives, we have never seen Krishna. So what is the question of experiencing separation? Prabhu, can you experience separation from a person you have never met? Why? You have to meet him once in order to experience separation, right? That is the big difference between Madhavendra Puri and us. Sometimes we are told, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, don't try to see Krishna. Work in such a way that Krishna will come and see you. Have you heard that statement, Prabhuji? Yes. Yes. With folded hands, I keep that statement on my head. I respect that statement. And at the same time, I have something to say, a very humble statement, that yes, that is true, but Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke that statement after he had a darshan of Krishna. My condition is very different, that I have never had a darshan of Krishna. So, there are statements like that, and there are also statements which encourage us to get a darshan of Krishna. Can we think of any statement which encourages us to take darshan of Krishna? There are many in Shastra. Jagannath Ashtakam, every fourth line. Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. May Jagannath Swami come on the pathway of my eyes. So these are statements for in favor of darshan. So we should know what is the eligibility for seeing Krishna face to face. After we see Krishna once, then we can happily experience separation. But till that time, we should know what is the eligibility for seeing Krishna. The eligibility for seeing Krishna face to face is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam. Dear devotees, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary to Bhagavatam 1 to 22, first canto, second chapter, verse 22, he gives 14 stages of bhakti. I have listed them here. Kindly repeat after me. Satam kripa mahat seva Shraddha Guru Padashrayah Bhajaneshu Spriha Bhaktir Anartha Pagamastatah Nishtha Ruchir Atha Sakti Rati Premath Darshanam Harer Madhuryanubhava Ityarthah Syushchaturdashe. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, in 14 stages you will progress. Stage 1, Satam Kripa, mercy of the sadhus. We should get the mercy of the sadhus. Stage 2, Mahat Seva, rendering service to those sadhus. Stage 3, Shraddha, as a result of rendering service we get faith in the Shastra. Stage 4, Shastra says take shelter of a guru, so we end up taking shelter of a bona fide guru. Stage 5, Bhajaneshu Spriha, we get a desire to perform genuine bhajan. Stage 6, Bhakti, we actually perform bhajan. Not only desire, we actually perform bhajan. Stage 7, because of performing bhajan, anartha apagamas, destruction of anarthas. Stage 8, Tatah Nishtha, then develops firm faith. Stage 9, Ruchi, there is taste in our bhakti. Stage 10, Asakti, deep attachment towards the Lord. Stage 11, Rati, the love begins to flow. Stage 12, Prema, we attain Krishna Prema. And then comes stage 13. What is stage 13, Prabhuji? Darshanam. Oh my goodness. On stage 13, I will get darshan. When I read this, I was like, let's give up. Maybe we will try next life. Because darshan is eligible. We are eligible for darshan only after prema. See, there are two reactions to such a statement. Either somebody becomes hopeless and gives up. No, it is not possible. Let me give up. This is first reaction. Second reaction is, yes, it is possible. We can try in this life. So, definitely we should try to have darshanam. And stage 14, Harer Madhuryanubhava. Darshan happens only through the eyes. Stage 14 is when you experience the sweetness of Hari through all the senses, not simply through the eyes. Through the nose, through the ears, through the sense of touch. Through all the senses we experience Sri Hari's sweetness. So dear devotees, how many of us want to reach this 13th stage? Darshanam. Yes. See, many raise their hands again. Nobody wants separation, huh? And what about Prabhupada's statement that separation is the highest? And why? Dur se dandavat? We don't want to approach those statements. Prabhu, would you like darshan in this life? Yes. I have some bad news for you, Prabhuji. Some bad news. Should I give you the bad news, Prabhu? Prabhuji, there is no darshan in this age. Absolutely no darshan possible. Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami have quoted a verse in their literature. Sorry for being the bearer of bad news. Please repeat after me. Pratyaksha Rupa Drigdevo Drishyate na kalau harihi Kritadishveva tenaisha Triyugaha paripathyate. Pratyaksha Rupa Dhrig, taking a direct form, face-to-face form, Devo, our Lord, Drishyate na Kalau, will not be seen. In which age, Prabhu? Ali, Harihi. In the other three ages, yes, Kritadishu. In other ages such as Krita, Treta, Dwapar, he will be seen. Tena Esha Triyugaha Paripathyate. Therefore, our Lord has a very special name. What is his name? Triyugaha. So in Kali Yuga, Lord Krishna cannot be seen face to face. He is seen like that only in the previous ages. Hence, he is known as Triyuga, or one who can be seen only in the remaining 3 ages. That's a good verse, Prabhu. Yes. Everybody like this verse? That's the end of the class. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Should we end here? Why? I'm giving you a Siddhanta. See, darshan is closed. No? The Lord cannot be seen face to face in this age. Yeah, but Madhavendra Puri saw. My heart also said when I read this verse, Madhavendra Puri saw. Yes. Maharaj is giving us hope. Madhavendra Puri saw. Rupa Goswami saw. All these personalities saw. I will give another incident. I'll be the bearer of another bad news. Let Maharaj take the positive side today. I'll take the negative side. One time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting Vrindavan. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting Vrindavan, a few pilgrims came to him and said, "Oh Mahaprabhu, you must come tonight." Where? To Kaliya Ghat. Acha, why? You know, nowadays, since a few days, people are seeing Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya in the night. Mahaprabhu laughed, said, yeah, you go. No problem. You go, I will be here. Next day, more pilgrims came and said, Mahaprabhu, you have to come today. Tonight, please don't miss Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed and said, yes, why not? Definitely. You please go ahead. So Mahaprabhu had a personal servant, Balabhadra Bhattacharya. So that personal servant became a little curious. And then he said to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, can I go tonight and try to see Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lovingly chastised him. And then Mahaprabhu spoke the following statement, which is another bad news for us, dear devotees. Please repeat. Krishna kene darshana dibe kali kale nija bhrame murkha loka kare kolahale. Prabhu, can you loudly read the bad news? Why would Krishna give darshan in the age of Kali? Foolish people who are mistaken are simply causing agitation and making it good. Yes. So, Prabhu, now are you convinced? No. Even after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement, you are not convinced. Prabhu, Madhavendra Puri was from spiritual world. You yourself gave the distinction between conditioned souls and Madhavendra Puri. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, why will Krishna give darshan in the age of Kali? This is a Siddhantic statement. Prabhu, Krishna doesn't give darshan in the age of Kali. Doesn't give. Oh my goodness. Consolation statements. Just hear the consolation statements. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. In Kali Yuga, Krishna appears in the form of the holy name. Prabhu, I want to ask you a question. In Dwapar Yuga, let's go back to Dwapar Yuga. Did Duryodhan see Krishna? Yes. He spoke to Krishna, right? Did Shakuni see Krishna? Yes. Did all the Kauravas see Krishna? Am I worse than all of them, Prabhu? Am I worse than Duryodhan? That I cannot see Krishna face to face in this age? So this question, for a long time, this question disturbed my heart. That I also want to have darshan of Sri Radharaman. I also want to see Sri Radharaman, just as Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami saw him face to face, just as Madhavendra Puri saw Krishna face to face, and all of this happened in the age of Kali. So why can't I see Krishna face to face in the age of Kali? So dear devotees, the answer is there, and I would like to give some answer. The answer is in a prayer named Sri Damodar Ashtakam. How many of us have heard Damodar Ashtakam? Yes, all of us. Damodar Ashtakam, a specific point is being repeated in 2 consecutive verses. How many of us remember the 4th verse of Damodar Ashtakam? I'll sing. If you remember, please sing along with me. Varam deva moksham na mokshavadhim va न चान्यं व्रेणेऽहं वरिषादपिह इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्या विरस्तां किम् अन्ये. Did you see sada me manasya virastam? Immediate next verse. Idam te mukham bhujam atyanta nilair vritam kuntalair snigdha raktaischa gopya muhuschumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virastam alam lakshalabhay. Are? The same phrase in 2 consecutive verses. Manasi avirastam in verse 4 and verse 5. If I have studied my poetics correctly, repeating the same phrase in 2 consecutive verses becomes a poetic fault. It is known as the fault of repetition. Is Satyavrat Muni committing a fault of repetition here, Prabhu? No. Why pray again and again? What is the meaning of Manasi, dear devotees? In the mind. Avirastam, appear within the mind. Why is Satyavrat Muni praying again and again for the Lord to appear in the mind? Fortunately, there is a commentary on Damodar Ashtakam by none other than Sri Sanatan Goswami. Sri Sanatan Goswami comments and says, please repeat after me. Antara darshana Mahatmyam cha Shri Bhagavatamrita Uttarakhande Vivritya Uktam Asti. He introduces a brand new concept, Antar Darshan. Dear devotees, how many of us have heard of this concept? Antar Darshan. Prabhuji has heard. Antar Darshan Mahatmyam. Dear devotees, there is one type of darshan available in this age. Which darshan is that? Antar Darshan. And Sri Sanatan Goswami says Mahatmyam, its glories are described in the Brihad Bhagavatamritam. So I immediately flipped the pages of Brihad Bhagavatamritam. And lo and behold, in Brihad Bhagavatamritam, there are the glories of Antar Darshan. In the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, our main character Sri Gopakumar is traveling through the various planetary systems. He goes to a planet named Tapahalok. In Tapahalok, he meets with one of the 9 Yogendras. His name is Pippalayan Muni. Pippalayan Muni asks him a question. Oh Gopakumar, why are you traveling here and there? Gopakumar says, because I want to see my Lord Madan Gopal. Pippalayan says, if you want to see him, stop traveling here and there. Stay at one place. Are how? Why? Then Pippalayan asks him, how does darshan happen? Prabhu, how does darshan happen? Through the eyes? How many of us want to see Krishna through the eyes? Please raise our hands. See, many people raised it. Now I will ask two questions, which Pippalayan Muni also asked. You have two options, but you can select only one of them. All right? You cannot select both. Only one of them. Option 1, Prabhu. Through you, I am speaking to the entire audience. Option 1. You can see Krishna through the eye, but you will feel nothing in the heart. Option 2. You will see Krishna in the heart, but see nothing through the eye. Which option do you want? Why you changed your party, Prabhu? Huh? Suddenly you changed. Yeah, everybody was saying we want to see Krishna. Now everybody wants Antardarshan. So Pippalayan Muni explained, you may see Krishna through the eyes, but the happiness of seeing Krishna is experienced not by the eyes. The happiness of seeing Krishna is experienced by the heart. Therefore, what is more important? Seeing Krishna through the eyes or seeing Krishna through the heart? Through the heart. Okay, now I will ask you another question, Prabhu. There are two questions. First, can a blind man see anything in this world? No. Can a blind man see Krishna? Yes. Where? A blind man can see Krishna? Yes. In the heart. So, all sorts of people, including those who are born without eyes, can get darshan of Krishna. But that darshan is the most important darshan, and that darshan is known as which darshan, dear devotees? Antardarshan. Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami, on the day that Sri Radharaman appeared, the next day after Narsimha Chaturdashi, he had a dream. And in that dream, for the first time, he had Antardarshan of the Radharaman deity. Sri Radharaman deity manifested within his heart. And from the heart, it manifested in the external world that we see today. So, dear devotees, the main type of darshan that we can have in Kali Yuga is which type of darshan? This darshan is still possible for us. But what about Madhavendra Puri? He had Bahir darshan, right? He had external darshan. So, in some exceptional situations, with some very exceptional devotees, it is possible that Krishna may also give Bahir darshan, external darshan. But the main darshan that one should aspire to have is which darshan? Antardarshan. This is the difference between Duryodhan and a devotee in Kali Yuga. Duryodhan had Bahir darshan, but did Duryodhan ever get Antardarshan? No. Shakuni had Bahir darshan, but did Shakuni get Antardarshan? No. We may not have Bahir darshan, but there is one darshan which we should get. And which darshan is that? Antardarshan. It's very important. Its glories are to be understood by all the devotees. Antardarshan. And there is one more Acharya who got Bahir darshan. One more Acharya who got Bahir darshan. In the 1960s, one Acharya, he set out on the order of his Guru to the United States. He had absolutely no money in his pocket. There was absolutely nobody to see him off, only one family relative came. He had completely given up his family, sacrificed his family, sacrificed his business for Krishna. After sacrificing everything, he literally begged for one ticket to the United States. The lady who gave him a ticket gave it with a big warning, Swamiji, you are going to die there. Still, he took the risk, climbed on the ship after giving up everything for Krishna. And Prabhu, What happens on the first night on the ship? Prabhupada gets 2 heart attacks. Not one, Prabhu, 2 heart attacks. One after the other. And there was perhaps a time when it might have occurred that this is it. I may not make it. But even at that crucial moment of test, Srila Prabhupada does not give up his most important quality of being favorable towards Krishna. Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. The most important quality he doesn't give up. If anybody else would have been there, they said, enough, turn the ship back. That's it. I sacrificed everything for you. And this is how you are testing me at this time? But Srila Prabhupada doesn't do that. He remains favorable. So, after such a test, Srila Prabhupada passes the test with flying colors. And Sri Krishna, who usually does not appear in Kali Yuga, especially not in a metal container, never. That Sri Krishna appeared that day in a metal container and kept his hand on the chest of Srila Prabhupada and said, "Dear Abhay, now you do not need to worry. Now it's only a matter of time." So on that ship, Srila Prabhupada gets one Bahir Darshan of Sri Krishna. And simultaneously, after that, he also gets Antar Darshan. In his heart, he sees all the incarnation of the Lord are driving the ship. So he gets both darshan simultaneously. So such a darshan, seeing Krishna externally, is possible, but a very rare phenomenon in the age of Kali. We should aspire not only for Bahir Darshan, but mainly in this age we should aspire for which darshan? Antar Darshan. That is the most important darshan that we should have. So may Shri Radharaman give us not only Bahir Darshan today, but may also give us Antar Darshan. All the Acharyas, they sing of the glories of Antar Darshan. We will see this in the songs. Mama mana mandire rahanishi dine. Why Mama mana mandire? Why not Mama Nayana Mandire? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur should have written, stay in the temple of my eyes. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Shri Kishore Kishori Ji ki Jai. There are other verses also which point to Antar Darshan. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hridayeshu. Should be nayaneshu, right? Within the eyes, the sadhus see him with the eyes. No. The sadhus see him within their heart. Yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajan. Now, Prabhu, I ask you a question. Do the eternal residents of Goloka Vrindavan see Krishna face to face? Yes? Always? No. When Krishna goes away in the morning along with all his friends to the forest, do the Golokavasis see him face to face? And when they do not see him face to face, where do they get their darshan? In the heart. So even in Goloka Vrindavan, which darshan is available 24 hours a day? Antar darshan. So why not accept it in this world, dear devotees? I spoke of a song Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, right? Janama safal tar Krishna darshana jar bhagya hoi ache. Kitna bar? Ek bar. His life is successful. Who gets a darshan of Krishna how many times? Once. But I did not specify the next two lines. Okay. We will see the next two lines also. Please repeat after me. विकसिय हृन्नयन करि कृष्ण दर्शन छाड़े जीव चित्तेर विकार. So how does the living entity get one darshan of Krishna? Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Vikasiya Hrinnayana, by developing the eyes of the heart. Kari Krishna Darshana. The Jiva sees Krishna, he gets a darshan of Krishna. This is how actual darshan is obtained, dear devotees. Hrinnayana. Prabhu, what is the meaning of Hrinnayana? Hrit. Hrit Nayana. The eyes of the heart we have to develop. That is how we will see Krishna. Kari Krishna Darshana. This is the darshan that Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur was speaking about. This is the darshan which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was also speaking in his 14 stages. Stage 13 was darshan. But in this age, primarily which darshan? Antar darshan. And in some exceptional cases like Sri Madhavendra Puri, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, he may also give which darshan? Bahir darshan. So it may happen also with you, Prabhu, that he may give Bahir darshan. But then you will become the exception, not the rule, Prabhu. The rule is that in this age, Bhagavan Shri Krishna mainly gives which darshan? Antar darshan. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Yatatra skhalitam kinchid vidvam sah purayantu tat. Yatatra saushthavam kinchid tad guror eva me nahi. Yatatra skhalitam kinchid. If I made any mistakes in the presentation, vidvam sah, you are all learned people, Vaishnavas. Purayantu tat. You please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there was anything nice in the presentation, a single slide, a single verse, a single line, a single word, a single syllable, half a syllable, it doesn't break down further in Sanskrit grammar. Even if half a syllable was nice, tad guroreva. It belongs to my Guru Janas, my Diksha Guru, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas from all the families of Gaudiyas in the past, present and future, including all of you. It belongs to all of you, may nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Hari Parshad Prabhu and Harugopad Maharaj, for a wonderful presentation. So we will continue with our program. We have to-go boxes of prasadam ready outside for all of you. We also have a kirtan. We'll start in 2 minutes from 7 to 8. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Who's chanting first? I'm going to chant first, yeah. Okay. Ready?
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. So I forgot my glasses. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sorry.
More artsy. It's slow. Okay. Don't go too fast. Push your arms. So. T-top. Slow rhythm. Slower. Exactly. And if you can't get it, stop. On the
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare drum roll Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare, one more time, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama. Keep that rhythm, okay? Keep that rhythm for now. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Keep it, bro. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The next rhythm, God gave te. Wrong cover. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. All right, both. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Rama Rama Rama
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Oh
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
stick with that rhythm,
Hare
okay?
Hare, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Say hi.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, I'll go.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Shiro Manikinja. Jai, thank you. Jai, thank her for supporting it too.
So much.
Pretty good, right? She had good. We're done with it. Jai, thank you.